right, I have a quick request. Those of you that are in the drug development pharmaceutical industry, do you mind standing up so that the patients know who you are if they have questions? Stand up. Come on. You know who you are. All right. So do you guys mind answering questions from the patients after we're done here today? Okay. And we have FDA here too. You guys want to stand up? Be accosted afterwards by no. We do appreciate you being here. Thank you. It means a lot to the patient community that you're listening and hearing their voice. I want to briefly introduce Mary Jo Strobel, who's going to release you all from this conference. And like I said, I'm the president of APFED, and we are very interested in hearing your ideas on how we can help support you, and if a list of experts by regions is helpful, we should be doing those kind of things. So these are the kind of ideas we want to hear. There are a number of things that you can do as well that can be found on the APFED site. We have a eosinophil disease registry, and this is for all of the rare eosinophil-based diseases. If you have not registered, I would encourage you to do that, Eosinophil Connect. Mary Jo's going to talk a little bit about that. There's a link on our website. We will be working over the next probably 2 years on developing ICD-10 codes for the hypereosinophilic syndromes by subtype, along with a few other diseases. And for those of you who don't know anything about ICD-10 codes or ICD-9 codes, when you go see your doctor checks some boxes, and those boxes get entered into a computer and they go off to billing land and they end up in a big administrative database. So if you want to answer questions on a population basis, so if you want to know across the country how many people have idiopathic hypereosinophilic syndrome, these administrative databases are a great way to answer those questions. But right now, your doctor ticks a box that says maybe eosinophilia, maybe they tick the pneumonia box, maybe they tick the heart failure box. So we have no way to identify you in these administrative databases currently. So there's a process to apply for additional codes, and APFED is planning to work on that. And if we need your help doing that, you will hear from us about that. And clinical trials, there's a link to clinicaltrials.gov on our website, and we often highlight and put out information about clinical trials as they come up. And if there are better ways to do that, if there are social media pages or listservs we need to get that information on to, let Mary Jo know. And if you had a great time today, thank you. If you didn't, let Mary Jo know. So, all right. Mary Jo Strobel is the executive director of APFED. She's going to tell you a little bit about APFED, and then we'll get you all on home. Thank you for coming.
Great, thank you. So I wanted to take this opportunity just to give a little show and tell about some of the resources that we have available to patients and caregivers with HES and ways to connect with our community. I'll also share the resources that we have to help healthcare providers better help their patients who have HES and other eosinophil-associated diseases. So very briefly, to give you some background about APFED, we are a 501c3 patient advocacy organization. We're now in our 16th year of service. We were founded by a small group of parents who had children that were affected by these diseases back at a time where there was very little information or resources available. So the pillars of our mission point include education and awareness, research, support, and advocacy. And we offer support for those with various subsets of eosinophil-associated diseases. So by working in partnership with patients and families and healthcare providers, researchers, and members of the pharmaceutical industry and government agencies, we've made a lot of progress over the years, and our patient community certainly has grown quite a bit from that time, 16 years ago. And there are now many resources available and many different platforms for support. So I just want to highlight a few of those now. The first one I'd like to highlight is the APFED website, apfed.org. Because we serve patients with different subsets of eosinophil-associated disease, the site has a very large amount of content. Some of it may not be applicable to all families, just depending on the type of subset that they're managing. But you can easily find information about HES on the site under the About EAD tab. That's our acronym for eosinophil-associated disease. But what that screen shows is I have circled in red. When you mouse over it, submenu will appear, and it's alphabetized, so you can find it that way. When you're viewing the site on a mobile device, you would navigate to that same section. And what you'll find on that page is background information about HES and treatment written in patient-friendly language. It was developed in collaboration with members of our medical advisory panel. And there is educational information that you can also download and share, including the materials that were contained in the folder of information that you received on site today. For those of you that are joining remotely via webcast, we will share a link to this material to you in the post-meeting communication that we will send in the coming days. So on this web page, you'll also be able to access and view educational and patient perspective videos and a list of links to related web pages and support forums. And we frequently update the site as new information and resources becomes available. There is a section for providers on the website that serves as a portal for clinicians to access and download patient handouts. And we also post in this section notices of conferences and meetings, CME research funding opportunities for those who are investigating eosinophil-associated diseases. And that section may be accessed through the Resources tab of the site's main navigation. And again, I've got the arrow pointing to where to find that. For patients looking for support groups, the website also lists those under the tab Find Treatment and Support. APFED does not have affiliated support groups. However, we do help such groups with material to guide them if they're looking to set up a new group. On this page, we post a list of those around the country upon request. The ones that are currently on there are primarily focused on eosinophilic gastrointestinal diseases. But certainly if you know of in-person or online support communities for HES, do let us know about that because we would like to have those added as well. So in the rare disease space, it can be difficult to find other local patients, and as such, it's not uncommon for community members to turn to online support forums. So one such online support forum that APFED has available is the EOS Connection support community that's hosted on the Inspire network. So that platform is moderated and monitored in partnership by both the Inspire community leaders and by APFED. The community currently has more than 7,200 members with various subsets of eosinophil-associated disease, and it continues to grow each day. So to get started, you would create a free account or a profile, and then you would join the EOS Connection community. And what the green arrow on my screen shows is that when you log in, you find topic-specific boards on the left side of the navigation, and there is a board that is specific for HES. And this is where patients and loved ones are able to have just an open and honest discussion, share their journeys, or ask a question of one another, and give and receive support. For those of you who use Facebook, you may also try searching on keywords related to HES to see what groups or discussion forums might be available. One example of a community group is Living with Hypereosinophilic Syndrome, which is a closed community administered group, which means that it's patient moderated. So to follow along with news and information that applies to the broader eosinophilic community, there are numbers of ways to connect with APFED. And since my previous slide discussed Facebook, I'll start there. Our page is facebook.com/APFED. We post a variety of information to that page, links to articles or studies, conference announcements, clinical trial opportunities, survey opportunities, shareable facts, just to name a few. It's quite a variety. So if you're a Facebook user and haven't already done so, I would invite you to follow us on that platform. And we also maintain a number of social media platforms to keep our community informed. So these channels are included in your meeting materials, but you can also access them through the website apfed.org. Or you can keyword search on APFED on those platforms to find us. A great way to stay looped in is our email list. There's no cost to join. You can opt in and out at any time. And we send emails monthly, and they include a variety of news, again, that would be of interest to our entire community. I think Wendy had mentioned the eosinophil.connect patient registry. That is housed on the Patient Insights Network. It's an online platform that collects health information from patients around the world. The registry contains more than 2,000 registrants with various subsets of eosinophil disease. And it facilitates patient participation in research and accrual in the research opportunities that are available. Again, you can find that through our website, and that's apfed.org. And I've also included our email address on the screen, so if you have any questions post-meeting, you know how to reach us. So thank you for that opportunity to share those resources. And I'm going to leave this screen up so that you can see a list of some of the community events that we have coming up around the country. Our walk and our golf outings that you see listed are fundraising events. And we're really grateful to the community members who have organized those to support our work. All types of fundraisers help us raise those much needed donations that really enable us to support research and other programs and services. And if that's an area that your family could possibly help with, we're happy to offer assistance with that, and you can feel free to see me anytime after the meeting. And I said I would leave that screen up. So that was my presentation. But in closing, I just really wanted to thank all of you for joining us today, and for all of you who have dialed in and are accessing this remotely. The amazing panelists that have traveled to join us today and bravely and candidly shared their stories with us. So thank you for being here. I'm going to be sending out an email to everyone in the coming days. It will include a link to the webcast footage. I will send that to both on-site attendees and to those participating remotely. It will also include a link to a form that you can provide us with any additional perspective post-meeting. If you didn't have a chance to participate in today's discussion, that link will provide you with an area to do that. And again, thank you for the FDA for being here today, and the speakers who have joined us to share all of their expertise and answer your questions. And finally, to CNOP for their support. Without their collaboration and support, really today's meeting would not be possible. So we do have refreshments over in the Madison room post-event. I know that many of you have stood up to identify yourselves as industry members or FDA members. That would be a great time to network with those people and with each other. So thank you again, and that's a wrap.
just want